Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Supernatural Saturday. Uh, my name is William Michael Forbes, and we do our Supernatural Saturday every weekend at 11:30 to 12:30, where I bring through divine messages from the souls and other beings that I work through on the physical dimension of consciousness. And I've got to say, I love this. I think we've got most of the glitches worked out now, and that there should be no more lagging, and I should be able to get all your questions coming up and scrolling effectively. Again, if we still have technical problems, I think it will be just in my presentation being improved with time. Let's see. We're going to just arrange the chat, and I'm going to access the live on my other device. Lots to learn here, folks. So go to my channel. And here we are. Wonderful. So now I will be able to see your questions and answers as we go. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Today, it's interesting, I've had Master Jesus around me a lot today, and he's really talking about the need for a dominant manifestation of love to be permeating through human consciousness, and that this has to be something that each of us chooses to do. Love is not something that just happens. It's something that's a creative process of the quality of our values and our consciousness. He says that it's very important you understand the way you treat your body, the thoughts you think in your mind, the behaviors that you act out are very important, that they be consciously and deliberately chosen, and that they reflect and represent expressions of love. Very exciting. I hope that if you're here, that you've got water with you and you're drinking. Whenever you're doing a higher elevated activity or using your brain differently, it's important you keep your body properly hydrated. So yeah, the subject, one of the things he's saying is each week from this week forward, there will be a subject that's predetermined so that you know who's coming live next week. Like next week, they're telling me that Buddha will be coming live and talking about peace and the need to cultivate peace within ourselves. And today is about the cultivation and development and evolution of love through ourselves deliberately and intentionally. Because if we're not loving deliberately and intentionally, it doesn't just happen. Love is not just something that just happens. It's a quality of consciousness that is cultivated deliberately, intentionally. Just as fear and anger are states of consciousness that can be cultivated deliberately and intentionally. And it's important to understand that each and every one of us has the opportunity to deliberately and intentionally choose love. Now, my guardian angel John is also with me today, and he'll also take questions and answers, and they'll also help you connect to your guides and angels. There are so many different dimensions of consciousness that we are unaware of, or most of us are unaware of, in our physical bodies. As long as you believe your body is exclusively, hi, how you doing? As long as you believe your body is exclusively who you are, then you will be limited in terms of your ability to perceive other dimensions of consciousness. Because then you're just viewing the world through your physical body. And in reality, Master Jesus says, you are a non-physical divine manifestation. You are a non-physical divine manifestation. And it's very important you understand that's what you are. You are a divine manifestation of consciousness that has a physical body that you are able to operate deliberately, intentionally. You have also the capacity to deliberately work with your thoughts and emotions and mind so that you can create the expression or articulate this self that is you, this non-physical self that is you, the divine child of the creative source that came here to express yourself, even as I did. He says every single human soul on this planet is a divine manifestation from its non-physical perspective. He says the problems often begin when you come into the body and you get lost in it. You're given ideas and thoughts by the world and the environment around you, and you get lost in those thoughts. And there's a lot of confusion, a lot of upset on the planet today with many, many beings who believe they're in pain and suffering because they are trapped in this thing called their mind and this thing called their body, believing falsely that this is the true self. The true self is that part of you which has a direct connection to and relationship with infinite love and source. He said, Master Jesus said, I came here to teach this very simply and elegantly by saying, as you think, so it shall be. To understand the simple truth of that is to liberate yourself from what you've been conditioned to believe is false. In being able to deliberately and intentionally select your thoughts, you are putting yourself in the position to become as the all-loving source can create through you with love. Just going here. Wonderful. Hi, everybody. Wonderful. Hi, Naveed. So understanding what he's trying to say, that when you are, or when any of us are stuck and thinking we're trying to understand reality strictly through the 5 physical senses, that we are limited by what those senses are capable of perceiving. He's telling me to correct that by saying you can learn to extend the capability of your physical senses. You can become aware of seeing without your eyes and hearing without your ears. He says there are many in the Eastern worlds that are able to teach you how to do this, how to connect with these extended senses that do not require the physical ones in order for you to see or hear or smell or touch or taste. You can do this also from these higher senses. Now, I'm interpreting that to mean that the third eye, for example, this thing that in the Middle Eastern yogis often call the third eye. Some people call it the pineal gland, that we can learn to access corresponding senses. The corresponding senses like clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairgustience, those corresponding clairs that correspond to our physical senses, but we can access them and see without eyes, hear without ears, smell without nose, touch without hands, by learning how to open up these senses. But first, he says, in order to do that, it is important you understand how to clean up this house in which you find yourself, how to clean up the mess that has been put in so many of you. It was not your mess, and you look at it and you go, why is this in my house? But you still have to be responsible for the mess. He says, even if you have a guest come to your home, you may have to clean up after the guest if they do not know how to be respectful. And this is what, he says, this is what I taught, how to train you to think of love, to be love, to do as love. These are the simple choices, but what thoughts, what ideas do you have in your mind that would restrict you from being able to articulate love? If you are angry at somebody, you will not articulate love. If you are judging somebody, you will not articulate compassion. If you are frustrated, you will not articulate patience and kindness. These are things that you must deliberately choose. And many of you find yourself getting impulses of frustration or hurriedness. It is important you understand how to let those go and replace them with patience and kindness and passion and perseverance. Do not doubt in your own capability to change this thing here. He says this is what most people are stuck, believing that this is who they are. And this is the greatest lie that has been perpetuated, to believe that you are strictly a physical body and a collection of information stored in this physical mechanism from the experience you've had in this physical realm, when that is just but a small, 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 small piece of who you truly are. What is the first step in correction? He says the first step in correction is to learn to make this instrument quiet. And each of you can do this and have done so many times, but often allow yourselves to get distracted by the noise of your past. You often approach many situations not from the situation itself, but from what you remember of the situation. So it's important to release yourself from these preconceived notions of your past. Now, there's also going to be, question, is mental alchemy a process that is required to channel in certain situations? Well, it's interesting. Master Jesus is saying mental alchemy is the ability to transform thought and emotion from one state to another. Mental alchemy is the process of transforming thoughts and emotion from one state to another. From that perspective, when you can transform the thoughts that would restrict or inhibit the possibilities that you could communicate with me or any other divine soul that is here with you now, whether it be my brothers Michael or Buddha or many others, your ability to move your thoughts and emotions into a compatible state with that which you wish to experience is the fundamental starting point for being able to experience the connection that you already have with that which you seek. It is not something that you have to find outside of you. It is within you, simply with the quieting of your mind. Hi, everybody. That's correct. That's exactly correct, Mary. Mental alchemy is changing thoughts and emotions deliberately and intentionally. This is in most conventional therapies, for example, and I've experienced conventional therapies from many sides as both a psychiatric patient many, many years ago. And I understand that most conventional therapies train or condition people to examine and review the past and what happened in the past and how it made you feel. And the problem with that is you just reinforce more of the emotional energy that's connected to that event. Merely when you take your attention off anger, you take your attention off fear, you take your attention off guilt. When you're not giving attention and you focus on ideas and feelings of joy, of love, and you can keep your attention, he's saying this requires training for many of you. You must learn to sit and tell your mind to think on this, not on that. You must tell your body to be still and quiet so that the emotions aren't being reactivated repeatedly. It is very important to enable yourself to operate this vehicle in which you find yourself communicating your information through. It gets easier, he said, when you first experience your ability to quiet your emotions, when you first experience your ability to change a thought, and then enable yourself to do so repeatedly. That begins the great, he's calling it the great liberation. The great liberation begins when you realize, oh, something's made me angry. I'm going to choose not to engage that anger. I'm going to release that. Regardless of what I think that person said or done, I'm going to release that anger. I'm not going to engage in it. And I'm going to stay in a state of quiet, calm, and peace. He says this is very difficult for many. In fact, there are millions and millions of you on this planet today that do not believe you can do this, that believe, wrongfully so, that your emotions and thoughts are beyond your ability to control them, and nothing could be a greater lie than this. Nothing could be a greater stumbling block for you than this. Let that belief go, for you are the thinker of those thoughts, and you are the one that decides and determines the feelings that you will express deliberately and intentionally or not. But that is a choice that you and you alone must make, to seek something outside of yourself, to teach you. The process is one thing, but to train yourself to use the process is another. And it is so important for you to come to the understanding that you must apply the process of quieting your mind, apply the process of releasing emotions, apply the process of having your body fall into alignment with that which serves you, not that which is being imposed upon you by the world. For the world is designed and controlled and manipulated in such a way as to keep your attention away from who you truly are. All of your TV shows are good examples of how you are trained to not love or trust or respect anybody, even those closest to you. And that even those closest to you can be deceptive and harmful towards you. And then that's okay. But it's not okay. It is not the right training. Within you is a state of love and grace that waits you to connect to it and cultivate it, nurture it, and bring it forth. He does say he will take questions at any time. Hi, Carolyn. How is it possible when your boyfriend are drinking because he's in another mood? Caroline, this is something, remember, whatever a person does is because of what they think and feel and believe, not because of what you think and feel and believe. Everybody on this planet is doing what is in their mind unless they've learned to step out of it. I know from personal experience, I was a serious alcoholic from age 12 to about age 25. I was a methamphetamine addict for 5 years. So I understand the concept of addiction from my own personal experience. So I know the change didn't happen until I realized that that's not what I wanted my experience to be. It has to come from within them. Or circumstance and situation will force the change. In my case, it was a voice talking to me when I was going to jump off a bridge when I was 20 years of age. That began my process of change. You cannot make another person change. You can influence them. You can offer your input to them. But getting a person to physically, mentally make a change is an act that they themselves must electively choose. You can say to the person, stop doing that. And if they listen to you, and they stop and they go, oh, I should stop doing that. And they make that choice, even if they're making that choice in agreement with you, they've made that choice. It's only our own choices that impact changes in our mind and emotions and in our material world. For every emotion that we're feeling, every thought that we are thinking is mirrored precisely in our external world. Master Jesus is saying, yes, as you thinketh, so all is. Not as it is, but so all is, as your life is a full expression of that which you express fully. And you can change that expression at will. And we can literally change that expression at will, but getting the knowledge, the information, and then taking the action, because there's lots of courses, there's lots of classes, there's lots of teachers, there's lots of trainers out there, and yet still there's over 1 million people that commit suicide every year. Why is this? Because they don't have either access to the information or they're conditioned to believe that what they're thinking and feeling is beyond their capability to transform, transmute, or change it, or to what somebody mentioned earlier, apply mental alchemy, the ability to transmute thought and emotion at will, right? Yeah, he's saying, this is what I meant. He says, this is what I meant by changing the water into wine. The water is the ideas and emotional energy in your mind and in your feeling thoughts. And it is important to be able to transform them from that state to a new estate. And he's using that from that state to a new estate. And he said that would be like God's estate. When you become the caretaker of your mind and you move your awareness towards the expressions of love, you align yourself to love. And that is what your Creator is. For your Creator is love. And so are you in your truth. No worries. Let's see. Again, as I get more adept at this YouTube, I see we don't have a lag today, which is wonderful. And so next week we'll have another step, so the presentation will be better. So I'll have the questions and answers in view of me in a slightly different way, so I won't have to keep looking away from the camera. So I apologize. Yeah, my Master G is saying, stop worrying about stuff like that. Don't put your attention on what you don't want. Thank you. Drusilla is saying, I'm working on letting go of smoking. Master Jesus is saying to you, dear one, it is not smoking you are working on letting go of. It is your belief that you have to smoke that you are working on letting go of. When you have learned to supplant the idea of smoking with the idea of non-smoker, then you will liberate yourself from that, for it is only your attachment to the idea that you are a smoker that maintains that in any degree. He says, I know you have diminished significantly your pattern, but you are still holding on to the old pattern. When you truly embrace the idea that you are free of that you are liberated from that, you will have not even the slightest desire for it. And even when you recognize that desire, you will recognize it as not that of your own choosing, but that which you've conditioned your body to believe it is supposed to do. So you can liberate your form from it at any moment, the minute you make that decision. And I partially agree with what he's saying. For me, when it came to, I smoked for 30 years and I quit over a 2-month period. But it was a deliberate process where I just literally stopped. My daughter was being born then. And this is about 26 years ago. My daughter was born, and I did not want to expose her to any of that energy. It was not my place to impose that on another sentient being that didn't ask for that. So I made the choice to stop smoking. And it took 2 months to deliberately cut it in half each day, cut it in half, until after a 2-month period, because I was a 2-pack a day person. By the end of the 2-month period, the smoking was all but gone, and I've never smoked since. Now there's, and any habit works the same way. With my drinking, it was the exact same thing. When you realize that you have a desire to drink, it's just a conditioned behavior. I was out at a friend's birthday party at a bar. I don't drink, and I'm at the bar, and I ordered tonic water. And even though I have the desire at that moment, around me, I can feel, oh, everybody's having a drink. And I actually, as they're pouring my drink into the tonic water into the glass, a part of me is going, oh, maybe, a little voice goes, maybe you should have a shot of gin in there, right? And I went, no, we are not having a shot of gin in there. That's an old pattern, an old program, an old thought in my mind from like 30 years ago. And it's still there. And so you have to be vigilant and realize there's a distinction between who you are and the patterns of behavior that you've been either programmed with or you've acquired yourself. As you learn to make those choices on a moment-to-moment basis, the transformation from one state to another gets easier and easier, and then you realize once you make a decision, it is done. Yeah, Master Jesus says, it is done. He said, when you are 100% certain it is done, it is done. You will not turn back. He says, this is what I meant by turning the other cheek. Anything that does not serve you, turn away from it. Anything that would harm you in body, mind, or spirit, turn away from it. Turn your cheek to it so that you are liberated from it. And that's a very important piece of the process you need to understand. Let's see. Okay, so Christine says, is this a reason why our chakras open up slowly so we could gradually learn how to control emotions and our mind? Because when we are very open, it is easy to get too emotional, too sensitive. My guardian angel John wants to answer that. He says, your emotional sensitivity is a healthy thing to have, but the quality of that sensitivity you get to determine. Do you want your sensitivity to be filtered through love or joy or fear and excitement? What do you want your emotional frequency to be filtered through? You have choice over this. Before you find yourself moving into a situation, always decide, what is the state of being I wish to experience in that place, that point of time and space? Really deciding that you're going to go into that meeting with a vibration of feeling love, and you're going to choose to stay in that vibration. Before you do your meditation, deciding what you want to experience in that meditation. I'm going to go into this meditation and experience greater love, greater connectivity, greater awareness, more expanded energies of the chakras opening up. It becomes a conscious and deliberate choice, a creative process. Master Jesus says it's important you understand this process of choosing, that you have choice, and whatever you look at, he says, whatever you give yourself to will become a part of you. So look at your world, look at your desires, look at your perceptions from the perspective of that which you wish to experience. What would be a good example for that? So you say you want your throat chakra to be more relaxed and at ease. So that's your idea, your focus. Well, then you move into that feeling. How would that energy around your throat feel if it were open and expanded? Once you can go into the awareness of how it would feel, once you ask, how would it feel if this were open? All of you could do this right now. All of you could do this right now. How would it feel if my throat chakra were open and free? And the minute you ask that question, your brain will begin to scan for, look for that open energy and feeling. And you can do that with any of the chakra systems. How will it feel if this were more expanded? And you'll feel an immediate response, because remember, wherever you put your attention, energy goes. If you put your attention on your heart chakra or energy center, the minute you put your energy there, you'll feel the energy change. If you can't do it from that perspective, you can take your left or right hand and place it over your heart, and you'll immediately feel a shift in the energy in the heart chakra, or the throat chakra, or the brow chakra, or the crown chakra. And in my Reiki practice, you learn to do these. When using Reiki, you learn to adjust the energy centers with intention. And merely with the focus of your intention of love or joy or health or wellness, your energy begins to follow into that matrix. So you can adjust your chakras very easily that way. And I do that in my meditations pretty regularly, where I'm making sure these systems stay clean and open, because I always want to get clean, clear information all the time. I totally understand. Yes, absolutely. Again, if you want to move away, there's always a word of wisdom. Again, I don't know. Remember, each and every one of us is in a unique body. I mean, the body that you're sitting in is completely different than the body I'm sitting in. Even though they have common functionality, they're unique and they're distinct. And so what your body needs chemically will be altered by what you think and feel, and what you're eating, what your habits are. So when you put a false substance, even if it's like you're taking pain medication, for example, your body chemistry then becomes supplanted by that chemical. So your body won't produce the necessary chemicals to naturally inhibit pain. But you have the ability to move into a state of deep concentration. And there's a process in hypnosis called gloved anesthesia, where you can make a part of the body not feel any pain or any discomfort. And in that process, you can deliberately turn to a part of the body that's in pain and imagine and focus on all the pain is gone. It's now calm and quiet and relaxed. And you go deeply into that, very deeply into that, and the body will begin to respond to it, because you're aligning your thoughts, your intention, and your action with that. So you can apply that process to getting off of medications. You can apply that process to getting off of alcohol or tobacco, like really moving to the awareness where you just release your attachment to those things and get focused on the idea that you're a non-smoker. Very important to understand this. It's really very simple. Oh, you're very welcome, Christine. Mary, why does my mouth open wide and sound like when a cat snarls is the best description of what I do? Something trying to come through, or just an opening in my throat? I'm getting told right now, Archangel Michael is saying to me to say to you, this is you are attempting to open your divine sound up. He says when you make that sound, to feel that which is behind the sound, move away from the physical sound into the feeling behind the sound, and allow that feeling to become fed by your attention, and you will sense and experience something different than what you know as this sound you hear with your ears and with your physical voice. It is the energy that you are unblocking. So allow yourself to go into the feeling behind that sound. The feeling behind that sound is really important. That's what Michael says for you. Wonderful, Mary. So try that right now. He's saying try it right now. If it's happening right now, try it right now. Right. There we go. Why everyone? What is the best clair for me to develop? What is the best clair for her to develop? For some reason, I'm getting clairvoyance and clairaudience would be the really best ones for you to focus on developing right now. And we're going to pause now and do a 30 to 60 second meditation on sending love out to the whole world. So everybody take a deep breath and center yourself in. And access within yourself what you call a feeling of love. And let it fill your body. And as you exhale, let that vibration of love expand out to the world. And as you inhale, fill your body even more with that vibration of love as you understand it. And as you exhale, expand your feeling of love out to the whole world and all that it contains. And just feel how your body feels doing this. Breathe the energy in again and make it more intense. And as you exhale, expand that feeling energy of love out to the entire world. Breathe that vibration of love into your body again. And as you exhale, expand it out to the world one more time. And this time, breathe that feeling of love deep into the molecules of your body. Breathe that feeling that you know of as love deep into the molecules of your body, deep into the marrow of the bones. And feel how your body is responding to you doing this. Feel how your body is responding to you doing this. This vibration of love that you've accessed. Just feel. Notice if your mind is quieter with this new feeling. Now feel how the space around your body feels with this vibration of love within you. Feel how the space around your body feels with this vibration of love that you've tapped into. And just allow that energy to do whatever it's going to do in your body and in your thoughts at this time. Just allow it to be, and bring your awareness back to this present moment. That's it. And just feel. Because each and every one of you, no matter where you are or what you're experiencing right now, when I ask you, what do you know of as a feeling of love for you? Everybody has their own approximation of what love is. And once you tap into that and give it attention, you begin to feed it. And once you give something attention, it expands. So when you give it attention, it expands, right? And you'll notice once you give that type of energy and expansion and attention and it expands, it begins to affect the chemistry in your brain, which in turn begins to affect the way your body functions. And when you breathe like that, you're conditioning your body to deliberately and intentionally relax, which further enhances the type of chemistry that your brain is going to produce, which will in turn alter the types of behaviors that will flow out of your physical form and that you can demonstrate through your body. Now, the reason we do this short meditation every Saturday, I do it every day at 12 noon and 12 a.m. And the reason we do this is we've started a movement called 1 Billion Strong. It's a Facebook group movement, but it's a global movement initiative to get humanity to recondition itself deliberately and intentionally back to a vibrational frequency of love, with the ultimate purpose being that that vibration of love will alter time, space, and energy around us electrically. Because remember, we are in an electric universe. And when you move into a certain state of consciousness, it's a different state of electrical potential. And by intentionally accessing this vibration of love, you begin to affect the space around you. You also begin to affect the people that you're around. And if you want, go out to a coffee shop or some public place and sit in a corner and move into your state of love and just be in there for like 30 seconds to 60 seconds and watch how the people change around you. And you can do that with other emotional energies like joy. You can move into a state of joy and inside yourself and feel that joy and radiate it out. And watch how the energy changes around, how people's behavior change around you. And once you start to apply something like this and you get personal feedback from the environment that, wow, I walked into that coffee shop and people were kind of, and I moved in that state of love, and all of a sudden people started smiling and they seemed more upbeat. I heard people laughing. All of a sudden you start to realize there is a connection between what we think and feel creates an electrical field around us, and that electrical field affects time, space, and matter in other people. Well, then it stands to reason the Earth's magnetic field, which is changing right now, is also influenced by energy, by our energy, by the energy of all forms on this planet. Every living creature, animals, humans, we are electrically interacting with each other all of the time. When we interact with each other from a perspective of love, it's very different than when we interact with each other from a perspective of anger or fear or blame. They're very different electrical potentials. So the 1 billion strong movement is about getting people united deliberately and intentionally in the electrical potential, the vibration of love, with the ultimate goal of affecting the planetary magnetic field to be strengthened. Because right now it's being weakened by the dominant fear frequencies that are being perpetuated on the planet through many mechanisms right now that are keeping people's energy associated to fear. There's all kinds of TV shows that are about this. The 100, Zoo. There's many shows that are designed to keep people in a state of fear. That's why we don't watch television, because most of it's designed to keep people in fear. So the 1 billion strong movement is a Facebook group. It's uppercase 1 billion strong, and you can join us on Facebook and join the initiative and do this every day, 12 noon, 12 p.m., and help bring love back to the planet. It's not about having to make people be a certain way. It's about you being that which you wish to experience in the world, and that which you are being will change and alter the electromagnetic potential of people around you. Even people that are really negative. If you tell a really funny joke to somebody who's really negative, or you just start laughing around somebody who's really negative, you can cause changes in their behavior instantly just by the nature of your energy. Yes. Oh, you're very welcome. Naveed is asking, what are all of the spiritual gifts or weaknesses? I got a whole chorus of being saying there are as many gifts of consciousness, both negative and positive, that you may cultivate or develop. While we would recommend that you develop the positive ones, the most obvious are love and joy and patience and passion and perseverance and excitement and compassion and understanding and helpfulness and service. There are many you can cultivate. The choice is yours. Some choose creativity. Some choose to create expressions of building rocket ships to inspire people to leave this physical planet. It is up to you. That's correct. How do I know the guidance? Victorious is acting, how do I know the guidance I hear in my head is not just my own voice or making it up? Wow, Victorious, I'm so glad you asked that question. I get that question a lot. And there's a process of distinction that I went through, and everybody who wants to learn to tap into the divine team to higher knowledge and wisdom from many levels, there's a process you go through. Because when I initially heard Master Jesus speak to me, I heard those thoughts as my own thoughts initially, but then I began to sense the feeling to the thoughts was slightly different than the feelings of my thoughts. There was a flavor of upliftment, of joy, an energy of excitement. I often get intense heat when Master Jesus comes through me. So there were a variety of things. The physical symptoms are different. And so I know when I'm feeling that super heat, that he's present. With Archangel Michael or Lord Metatron, I'll feel pressure on my back or enthusiastic energy, electrical charge around me. And I can tell from that as well. So it's not just the thoughts, it's also the sensations, learning to sense their presence. Because when you sense their energy, like when I sense Master Jesus' presence, like right now it's getting really intense right now because he's coming in strong. He says it's important you understand that the feeling of potential between myself and you is different. You will feel that difference in energy. And if you speak from that feeling of our presence, then if you think they are your thoughts, if you are speaking from that energy, they will be our thoughts working through your mind. This is important. Eventually you will come to the understanding where you will hear our voices as we speak in our voice as the form we speak through. It is important you understand you may hear through this one the sound of his voice being a certain modulation, but you will also know differences in the structure of his language, and the information that he presents changes from one of us to the next because we are all different. It is a process of allowing. But you will have to go through that transition. You'll have to learn to recognize the distinction between your thoughts and ideas and ours, for they are distinct. You may align yourself to ours, in which case you are aligned to them, but you will still recognize the difference in the quality of the feeling sensations of our energy and thought forms versus yours. It is a process you will go through. And I completely agree with that awareness. That is a process that I went through. It took several months to go through, but I had one advantage. I had sensations happen when my wife and I were driving through the mountains in Newfoundland in Gros Morne, and all of a sudden the smell of perfume filled the car. Those are other things. This smell of perfume filled the car. And then this voice said, "I'm the mother," spoke to me in my head, right? And it was like, even though it sounded like my thoughts, it was not me, because it was, "I am the mother." And then my body got really hot and I had to pull the car over. So you can also look for sensations that happen. And then from the sensation, as they were saying, that feeling sensation, you can allow thought to flow. And then you'll start to make that distinction between your thoughts and their thoughts. And then it becomes just like you're in a room full of people and you all take turns speaking, right? And then it's like literally like that. They can take turns speaking through. And I can say to John, "Do you want to handle this question?" Or ask Jesus, "You want to answer this question?" Or now they just step forward and answer. And I don't have to worry about that. And part of the reason I don't concern myself, when you adjust your vibrational state, when you can adjust your vibrational state, you don't have to worry so much about who's going to come through. If you're in a low vibrational state, if you're angry or frustrated or fearful, not a good time to try tapping into higher levels of consciousness. It's always better to do that when you're past that energy. You want to be in a high vibrational state, and we get into how you can create a high vibrational state with your diet, with grounding, with crystals. There's many different ways you can generate high vibrational states. Let's see, another question here. Wow, you guys are great. So many questions here. I love it. That was good. Another channeler channeled Angel Hillel, and a message was sent through that said that Archangel Michael is his other aspect. Can you confirm with Michael if this is true and elaborate on this? It's funny, I got this Eastern yogi, I can't quite make out who he is, but he's saying you must understand the 1,000-petaled lotus, that the blossom constitutes one great blossom, but there are many petals to the whole thing. And all of us are but petals in the great cosmic lotus. We are not separate, but we are distinct. We are united, but we are also individual. There is an awareness of this wholeness, but not a diminishment of that wholeness's ability to express and articulate itself through individual parts. So we in truth know we are not separate, but you yourself may still view yourself as this way. So we don't see ourselves as separate from one another. We recognize that unity, but we also have great reverence for the individual expressionness of the individuals of this cosmic lotus. And I agree with that too. That like the same power, the same intelligence that's beating your heart right now is beating my heart. But I'm in this body, you're in that body, but it's also in your body and my body. So we're part of the same life force, but we're also individual expressions. So to answer your question directly, Archangel Michael, Master Jesus, Buddha, Joan of Arc, you, me, we are all one at a certain point of consciousness, but we have individualized expressions of that one life energy force, as John or Bob or Mary or Joseph or Peter or Buddha or Zarathustra or whatever that individual expression is, but we're all coming from that same unified source. I hope that answered the question. What do I do to experience my guides more directly? That's a great question, Terry. Meditation, learning to get your mind and your body to be still, training it to be absolutely still so that you are aware and present is the first step. Because if you can't get your mind and body still and quiet, it's very hard to recognize or identify anything beyond it. You know, if you're trying to meditate and your mind's thinking of breakfast or lunch or, oh, I got this itch, if you can't keep your mind and body quiet and still, you won't be able to. It'd be a lot harder to anyway. But that's the first thing, is meditation. Other things you can do is to change what you eat, change the vibrational foods you eat. Make certain the foods you're eating are high vibrational, so you raise your frequency up and tap into higher frequencies of consciousness. Much the same way as you tune a radio station from 1050 to 107.9 or 108.4. You can adjust the way your body perceives and receives information by adjusting the quality of the body and changing the quality of your mind. Learning to get thoughts and ideas and information in your mind that are really positive and upbeat and powerful and positive, and adjust to that frequency. Luke, does any high vibrational being have any message for me? Okay, we'll have to do that at some point. Okay. For Luke, there's this being going by the name of Joshua that is saying to you, that thing you must stop, you must stop. For that point of freedom that you seek will only come when you stop doing that thing which you know you must stop doing. He says, you can feel my energy and my presence with you if you reach back and behind you. You will feel my frequency there with your hand. You will perceive it first as heat, but once you perceive it, we will be connected. But you must stop doing that thing that you know you must stop do. So I don't know what he means by that, but that's his message for you, Joshua, to you, Luke. That's really cool. Naveed's asking, can you ask him if all those titles were meant to regard the metaphorical nature of being and not literal? If so, what was the reason of religious texts saw him as opposing entities from ancient times? I'm not quite sure. Do you want to answer that? He's saying your focus should not be on the symptomology or the information of all these other religions and philosophies. Your primary focus, dear one, needs to move towards the unifying awareness of yourself to that infinite source of love, and allow that source and your connection to it to reveal that which you are here to be and do. For to seek truth is one thing, to be that truth is another. And you are, in your seeking, achieving to be that which you already are. So go into that place within you where love and grace and limitless compassion reside to move through you when you allow it. Be one with that. Be that. And you will find you no longer need to seek, for that which you seek is that which you are, dear one. Wow. Okay, wow. You're welcome, Victorious. Terry's asking, what can I do to experience my guides more directly? I think we covered that one. Reflection. Hi, can you touch on the purpose of star seeds and their origins? Yes, absolutely. The origins of star seeds and their purpose is to help humans align to higher frequencies of love during this ascension process. The ascension process is the complete unfoldment and deliberate manifestation of love as a universal phenomenon to humanity. And the amazing transformation in what will happen on this planet with people and societies, the need for religions will dissipate when we move into that higher frequencies. And they're here, these beings, the Pleiadians, the Lemurians, that still exist today, are here to help us raise that frequency up. The reptilian beings, there's so many beings from many different planes of consciousness that are here to help that. All star seeds, I mean, we are all star seeds too, right? Are here to raise the frequency deliberately, consciously, and intentionally. And you are one of those. It's not something you, again, have to seek after. It's what you are. Let's see where we are. 1221. Sometimes when I'm meditating, feel a lot of energy on my face moving. Is it my angels or some archangel? Yes, I get for you that's Archangel Raphael, and this question was specifically for Sunny Soul. This is Archangel Raphael, and he's saying to me right now that you have to receive healing to be the healer. I don't know why he's saying that, but he's saying you need to receive healing to be the healer. He's saying do not focus on the symptoms of our connection, but allow the connection to become part of you, that you may be enabled and reminded of that which you are as a healer. You have called forth this gift. Now it is time to become that which you have called forth, and I will facilitate that with you. He's saying also in your meditations, when you feel his presence, allow it to come into you, and feel. He's saying you'll feel it healing parts of your body. There are actual parts in your body that allowing that energy from him to come in and heal the body. Drink lots of water before you do that. He's saying drink lots of water before you do that. And I suggest that to everybody when you're doing meditation or you're doing channeling. It's important that you drink lots and lots of water. Always have it on hand, because when you're working with multidimensional beings, when you're channeling archangels, you're tapping your guides, speaking to your loved ones who are on the other side, your physical brain has to electrically and chemically work. It utilizes more energy and more electrical energy. So your body needs more conductivity. Water is a great conductor of electrical energy, so your body needs more of it. Let's see here. You're welcome, Luke. You're welcome, Victorious. Naveed, they say they've already given you the message. You've already got it. Catherine's asking, why do I get completely drained by other people's energy even when I use spiritual protection? These people are family and friends who I love. What kind of spiritual protection should I use? Wow, I got this being coming through. I'm not sure who they are, but it's a male energy, and he's saying it's important that you that you choose to be in your state of love and grace, to be as you are as love. For in that state, truly, you will not be affected by them as you have been, for the process you are using is one where you think you need to protect yourself. And in the very idea that you need to protect yourself, you are creating the resistance that you yourself have created. So be in your vibrational frequency of love and stay present with that feeling, and you will notice a significant difference in what your experience is of those situations. It is not about protecting yourself against something. For the moment you are protecting yourself against something, you are assuming and adding energy to be against you. Just be in the state of love that you know to be state of love. Be in that, and you will find the liberation from that drain that you seek. For you are actually fighting your own resistance to the perception that there is something that is harming you. He's saying that you know what love is from your inner perspective, but be in that inner perspective and let that heavier energy. It will expand around you. Very important. And it's true. It's like if I put this glass of water in the freezer, it's going to freeze because the cold around it is going to change it. Just as you are in a space and you're in a state of love, that love will begin to affect, that vibrational love will affect the molecules in the space, the time, and the people around you. Next time you're in a social event with your family or with the loved ones that you're having that challenge with, before you go into the space, go into a state of love. Be in a state of love as much as you can, and then just go into that with that vibration. And don't expect them to be different. Just be connected to that feeling of love. And just observe. Don't interact much. Just observe. Say hi and be polite, but just observe. As long as you stay connected to that feeling, observe what differences you notice around you. And then please, when we come back on for next Saturday, please come and share that. Or if you like, share comments on the video replay. We'd love to hear about your experiences when you apply any of this stuff that we bring through for you. Yes, every dimension is subject to the laws of energy and consciousness. What you call the law of attraction is a universal law. There is a point of consciousness, what is called the stillness point, the place of perfect balance between all things. But even this is only temporary in the process of change between one potential and another. I don't quite know what that means yet. So yes, so there is, that point of transferring from one point of potential to another. So for me, I would reinterpret that to mean. So let's say I've spent a lot of my life when I was living in a lot of fear and anxiety, and I decided I didn't want to live in fear and anxiety. I realized I could start changing my thoughts and it would change how I'd feel. And as I went through that process, I began to get glimpses of more love and more joy and more positive energy. And then there was times I'd feel absolutely just quiet and calm. I'd feel neither good nor bad, but I felt at peace. And for me, that's the best way I can try and reinterpret what was just said to you there. Again, be patient. It's not a guardian angel, Christine. It's not a guardian angel or an archangel. It's somebody from your family that's passed over to the other side. I'm getting 2 generations back on your mother's side. I'm getting a name with a G, but I can't figure out exactly who it is. But they're the ones that's trying to connect with you. They're saying they're trying to download to you excitement. I don't know why, but they're saying they're trying to get you to become excited about something. I don't know what that means. But 2 generations back on your mother's side, it's a male energy. It's like a Gary, a G sort of, a Gary-ish, like Gary, name like Gary, something like that. Gary, Harry, and they're trying to inspire you to be excited about something. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is that you're supposed to be excited about. Any message for me? Many thanks, William and team. Love and blessings, cats. Wow. Meg, this is the last question that we'll be taking today from Meg. I've been getting angry and overwhelmed a lot lately. Do I have a negative attachment? Who is best for me to call in to transmute this? Well, immediately, Saint Germain just stepped forward and said, call on me to transform. Focus on the color violet. And then rest. Feel the vibration of that violet color. Feel its vibration. Allow that vibration to go towards the energies that you are labeling as anger. He says, I would also recommend that you take your attention off the symptoms of what you are calling anger. So take your attention off the symptoms of what you are calling anger. I love Master Saint Germain. He doesn't come very often, but when he does, it's always beautiful like that. Yeah, thank you, brother. So Meg, please, again, if you apply any of this information they've given you, share your experiences in the comment section below, or you can message me directly and just let us know what's happening with you, because we'll be doing this every week, every Saturday, 11:30 to 12:30. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys again next week. And I'm really grateful there was no lag today, so we've got that sorted out. And hopefully we'll have other new and wonderful things to share with you as we go on in the coming weeks. There will be a specific subject. They're telling me there will be a specific subject each week now, so that there's a greater focus. They say I like to try and give everything out in great quantity, and they say it's important that we be very focused, that I be very focused in what they want to bring through, so that the progression each week will be for your highest good, in targeted and specific ways. And they say they depend upon your willingness to participate with these questions, so that you can receive the guidance that you need from us. For each of you is unique and distinct in your path, and we wish to honor that. And I'm totally on board with that. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming live with me today. It's been wonderful. You're welcome, Sonny. You're welcome. And we'll see you all next week. And again, invite your friends. Please subscribe to my channel. Look over some of the videos that are going up. There were 2 videos that were put up this week from our online course. We teach an online course in mediumship, a 101 course, which is for beginners, a 102 course, which is intermediate levels, and a 103 course, which is an advanced level mediumship program. And they guide me when to put videos from within the courses up on there to give some of you the opportunity to catch on and get plugged into the things you need to. And there's 2 by Master Jesus this week on releasing past emotional blocks that are just up on the wall, put up in the last couple of days. So watch those, like the video, subscribe to them. And again, thank you all so much for coming out. Much love to all of you, and we'll see you next week. And now I get to learn how to sign off. Much love, everybody. Bye for now, and thank you for all your questions.